Okay, so I'm here with Chloe, who's going to be fighting at your fighting championship this Sunday. I've seen her fight a couple of times. It's going to be a pleasure to see you fight again. With the
Yep.
MMA, with the women, it's quite hard to get matched. You matched against a very, very good girl. You've only fought very, very good girls. If anyone looks at your record,
Yeah.
Gemma Rowles,
Yeah.
who's actually in PFL now, um,
hmm
just go to Tapology and check. How are you feeling? It's fight week. How are you? Thank you very much for your time. But
Yeah.
what's the week look for like for you?
I'm actually feeling confident now. I've brung on a nutritionist and stuff like that there now. And I think it's just trial and error at this point because obviously it is that lighter weight that I'm used to. Like I did fight Gemma at flyweight, but I done everything by myself and it was a rough cut. I'm going to be honest with you. So this time I want to be prepared a wee bit more and kind of bring in someone that actually knew what they were talking about. Um, I obviously my nutritionist is Laura Cannon. She is a professional Muay Thai fighter, so she is. She's over in Liverpool, so she trains at Majestic. So it's one of the most, well, I think it's one of the top level gyms you can actually go to for Muay Thai in the UK. And it's amazing the amount of information she knows and what she's sharing with me at the minute. It's class and it's one of them things where I feel so ready for this fight at the minute. Obviously I've been doing additional strength and conditioning sessions. Like I've been getting up at like 5:30 in the morning, doing those, going back to bed, have a wee nap, and then going on back doing another session, going nap. And I think that's what my life consistently like revolves around is just napping at the minute. And I'm all for it. Like I love my sleep. But it's just one of them things, whenever you do what you love, it kind of makes a difference. Do you know what I mean? And I know I'm only at AMI level, but like it says to you earlier on, like I'm amateur for a reason. I'm perfecting my craft. Like I'm only trying to figure out what's my plan and what's my game plan, what works and what doesn't for me, and then hone that in and really like be specific in terms of do I need to change this? What do I have to work on? That means when I actually do go to that professional level, like you said I'm only fighting good girls. Well, that's the only ones I really want to fight. Like at the end of the day, that's how I test myself. I put myself in deep waters now, and then I'll know for even when I go to professional, I can hang with the best of the best because at the end of the day, I fought the best of the best at amateur. Obviously, I want to go into pro feeling like I'm actually ready for it.
Yeah, no, and it's good. I can see even in your progression, you've kind of progressed very quickly. And you're taking everything, like I said, you're amateur before you go pro, you want to perfect these things. It's not even just the skills like that. The weight cut you said you had a bad one.
Yeah. Oh, it was
And
really bad.
like how does that like the one you do now compare to the last one? Because I know people like that that have done it going down to a lighter weight
Yeah.
and then like there could be serious complications with stuff like that. People
Yeah.
have got slip into comas. You removed fluid around your brain. Like, how are you finding this wake up compared to the last one? And you're obviously glad you brought on a nutritionist because they're
Yeah,
not the
she's
easy.
amazing. I give like I put my hat off to her. See everything she's shown me. Like I feel like I'm so confident in like even if I don't use her, I can do it by myself. Like she's educated me so much. Like the last time I think I would have cut like about 5 kg in water weight, and that is a big cut for a woman. I'm going to be honest with you, I would never recommend it. She's got me down sitting at 60. And like I'd only have to cut about two or three on the actual day. Do you know what I mean? I'm water loading now, it's the water bottle. But like it's just the transition, even the food I'm eating, like and the way that I had such a like bad relationship with food. I would like obviously I wouldn't eat before sessions. I would starve myself more so nearly out like most days just because I'm like, oh, I don't want to put on weight. But she's got me eating like three full meals, two snacks a day, like so it's actually just a game changer. I'm going to be honest. I can feel my energy levels completely different, you know. Even when I'm going into my sessions, I'm feeling fueled. I can get actually good performance out of myself because I'm not like binging and then I'm not feeling guilty for it and then I'm not eating the next day. Do you know what I mean? So it's consistency that I'm building with her and it's amazing, you know?
Yeah, I think a lot of fighters have complexes with foods because
Mm,
of the start of their careers. They can't like that when you're doing it by yourself. Nutritionists can be expensive to bring on board, but I think they are beneficial.
yeah.
Like that, you weren't eating for training sessions. You need to fuel yourself to perform the best
Yep.
at those training sessions. And
She
it's
she
also
was like she was like, "Oh, you don't expect your car to fuel on an empty tank and or like run an empty tank." And I was like, "Fair." And she was sitting like giving me it, but she was doing it for my own good. You know what I mean? Like it's just the way she goes about it. It's like I really resonated with her, and I really take in everything she has to say. And I think it like you can. I've went to different nutritionists, and it's like one of them things where you do have to kind of shop about a bit to get the one that actually fits you know, your goals or like even your personality, because at the end of the day, it's those are the type of people that you're actually going to push more with because they actually kind of resonate a wee bit more with you.
Yeah, I think when like that, you need to get someone like that same personality and
Hi.
your goals. Because I think if you find it's same if you're working with people as well, you're gonna if you when I used to hire people, I'd always look and go, well, I can get on with them, I can train them, that sort of way.
Yeah,
And it's the same, obviously, I gotta get on with them and get you'll be able to get the best out of each other. But in terms of MMA,
exactly.
it's very quiet. It's very hard, obviously, we know for you to get fights, for the ladies to get
Yeah,
fights. But in the meantime, you've been doing, I see, kickboxing, jits. How you find it
yeah.
doing out of MMA competitions, and have you done that because of the lack of fights, or is it just to sharpen up on different areas?
Sharpen up in different areas. Now, I wouldn't say I would be the best striker, and that's coming from just my background. I'm more jiu-jitsu based and more of like a kind of ground opponent. And it's one of them things where I really set myself a challenge this year, and I was just going out of my comfort zone and kind of giving it a go. Now, the last fight I had was with a really well-known kickboxer, and she knocked out the last girl and she's phenomenal. Like in my head, like she's just really good. And maybe I got into my own head about that fight too. So, and kind of kicking myself because I should have believed in myself more. Should have went for the takedown a wee bit more. I should have like believed in my game instead of playing into hers. And that's what it was. I was too busy concentrating on what she was doing. I didn't get my game into effect. And you know what? It's a learning curve, I'm going to be honest with you. But I'm proud of myself because it was like a week's notice. And I was like, you know what? Who cares? I haven't fought this year. If I want to get fights in, I just have to take them when I get them. And it was one of them things. It was like one of my impulsive decisions that I just do. I just like at the start of the year, obviously, I like my hair was really long, cut it up short. And it was just impulsive decisions. Matthew's sitting there like, what the fuck? Like he didn't have a clue what was happening. And I was like, yeah, just going with the flow. And then he's like, going with the flow. That's the opposite of going with the flow. Do you know what I mean? And I'm just changing it up. Like I'm growing out my hair underneath, so I'm growing out my undercut as well. So that's a process. It's bad, but like it's one of them things where I'm just trying new things, and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, sure, what's the harm in it?
Yeah, exactly. Like, because if you keep trying the same things over and over again, or keep going the same way, you'll never progress in any different ways. And
Hmm.
like I said to you straight after that fight, like fair play to you because one, after she knocked out the last girl, we all know how good she is, and you like if anyone had seen that fight, they'd be like takedown straight away. And I was quite surprised you didn't go for it, but I
Yeah,
think you really held your own against someone like Kaya, and that's why like you're up there with everyone else. And I think you need
yeah.
a little bit more belief in yourself.
Yeah. And I think that's what it is. It's the belief. I think that's what I struggle with in terms of just seeing myself as one of the best. And it's like I'm still working on it. I still have this like my Muay Thai coach, Mark, that's Laura's dad. So it's like all interconnected. But he's amazing. So he every time I'm in training and we're doing pads or I'm sparring with the boys. And these boys are like 6 foot something and they're all Muay Thai fighters and they kick the shit out of me all the time. You can bleep that out if you want. But like the best rounds like ever. And I mean, see, and I have to have it in my head that I'm a woman. I'm literally 5'5". I, and I'm literally like 61 kg. They're like 90 kg and I was sitting being like, I'm so shit. And he's like, stop saying that. Stop saying that. And he every time he sees me saying something bad about myself, he literally says, now I want you to stop and he says, right, say something positive now. Or do you know what I mean? So he nips that in the bud and it's just that negative kind of cycle I have with myself because my expectations are a wee bit high. Do you know what I mean? And I really do. I'm very self-critical. But one day I was just having a bad day, and he was like, "Right, here is a podcast by Vinny Shorman, and it's like called Weaponized." So it's about getting 1% better and the inner critic and like, having a purpose and stuff like that there. So it sounds weird, but like every night before bed I listen to it, and it's built my self-belief and stuff up about myself into a new level. And I think that's what, see, it's about who you're kind of around that kind of determines your self-value. And see, having people like that there really lift me up. And I think it's just have to surround myself with those people just to make sure that I do have that positive self-talk instead of spiraling into negative because it's so easy to do, you know?
Yeah, it is. And like that, a lot of people will promote you and kind of go, oh, yeah, they'll kind of let you feel sorry for yourself and they'll
Hmm.
kind of let you go down that route. Whereas obviously he knows what's happening with the mindset. He snaps, he wants to
Yeah,
change. And it's good like that. Listening to something like that every night would build your self confidence. Like different things
yeah,
for people. And like you said, you're still kind
yeah.
of on your feet. You're not overly long in MMA. Like
No, this,
compared to a
I
lot
think
of
this is
other.
like, yeah, I think this is like my third year. So, and I've had a like I've had a lot of breaks in between my fights as well. So it's like last year I had 4 fights in a row. So I had one in May, June, July, August, break November, and then break again the whole way to August again. So that's a big jump,
Yeah.
like in my head, like I would want to be a wee bit more active because then it gets the ball rolling into right, I know what I'm going to do whenever I get in the cage. And I think that first fight coming back with Kaya was kind of like a sudden realization for me where I was like, oh shit, I've been away for so long now. Like, I need to kind of zone in, and I didn't zone in, but like she was hitting me with everything, but I think I was just being thrown. I was like, you know what, just fucking stand there. Like, I'm not going to be put away, but that was just because I was being thrown. I could have took her down, but I didn't believe in myself. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. I think I've had a whole mindset shift, and it's kind of one of them things where we we always have like a 24-hour rule. So me and Matthew always have a 24-hour rule. Whenever you get knocked out or you get lose a fight or anything like that, there you have 24 hours. Feel sorry for yourself, binge eat, do whatever you want, and see after that 24 hours back into the schedule, back into routine. Do what we do, because that's what it is. I think see having each other, we really push each other. We're a good team, and it's kind of that self-realization where we both snap each other out a bit whenever we do lose, and we're like, hold on a minute, we've got training the next day, stop feeling sorry for yourself. I'm not going by myself. Do you know what I mean? If I'm going to suffer, you're suffering with me.
So I like that 24-hour rule. I've heard of a gym that actually has that same rule as well. And I think it's
Mhm.
quite good because when you win as well, that moment only lasts kind of the night, the thing like that doesn't go into weeks of celebration.
Yeah,
Back in the gym, maybe the Monday, sometimes people might take the Monday off and go back to Tuesday or
yeah.
whatever. But
No,
I think it's
we
good.
don't. It depends on when the fight is. Like if the fight falls on a Sunday, give yourself the Monday, get back on a Tuesday. But we always say if you're not injured, you have no excuse. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like my Nogi coach Paul McKeown, he always goes, you know what? The only person that cares is you. Like no one cares. Like at the end of the day, if you win, draw, or lose, everybody will forget about it the next day and move on to the next best thing. Like the only person that will harbor those emotions is you, because at the end of the day, it doesn't affect anybody else's life other than yours. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was like, whoa, okay, dude. And he was like, no one cares. And I was sitting there like, you know. But it's true. It's a good philosophy to have, It does, it motivates you to kind of push on, I think, you know.
Yeah. And do things for yourself as well, because like that,
Mm,
you walks like no one like people get so self-conscious or anxious about what people may think. And
yeah.
and like that, they've got their own shit going on, the sort of way. So you
Hmm.
need to take care of you and do what's best for you. But a
Best for
question I
you.
want to ask you
Exactly.
about Matthew actually is obviously you're both fighters. Like, how is that dynamic? Like, do you push each other all the time? Like, when you're like, are you constantly
I put
fights?
each other to limit, like, good and bad way.
Sorry, that just blocked out for me there. I couldn't hear you. 1 second. I think it
Oh,
keeps
you just,
freezing. No, it's all right now. It's
hello.
no, it's okay. It's
Hi.
okay.
Sorry.
Uh,
Was it me or is it you?
I don't
Kind of
know.
panicking there. I was like,
Oh, it was just freezing on my end. But yeah, no, I like the
Aye,
dynamic.
okay.
I see the two year shows a lot of the time, and it's good obviously because he's been around a while. He's like you're able to
Yeah.
train with each other when maybe other people don't like get in extra training as well. Like what's it like? How's that dynamic? And how hard is it for you watching him go to a fight and lose or win? Like, are you more nervous watching his fights than you are for your own?
Oh, I 100%. I'm always nervous for his, but I think he's never nervous for himself. I don't think we're nervous for ourselves, but we're nervous for each other. Does that make sense? Like we're never nervous for ourselves. Like we're fine going in there by ourselves, but see, whenever you're watching someone that like you know their potential and like if they don't perform, you feel it the way that they feel it too. Like I feel like it's one of them things whenever you train with someone so long and you know what they're feeling. And if they don't perform, then you're like, you know what, I know what you're feeling right now. But Matthew always makes a point of see if I lose and then he's like, oh, I should have done this or should have done this. And I'm sitting there like sitting crying my eyes out and he's like, it's fine. But he just doesn't register the emotion. Do you know what I mean? So he's like, oh, you should have done that, and I'm sitting there crying. I'm like, I just wasn't good enough, and that's the fine. Like I am very self-aware in terms of what I'm doing, you know. But like I said, I think we're just nervous for each other, but not ourselves, you know, because when we're going into it, we're loving it. You know, I think it's the other person that's like, oh, this, like, they can get hurt. And I think that's what it is, you know. It's not that they can lose, it's just, oh, I don't want them to get hurt. That's about it.
Yeah, it is. I like it would be hard, but obviously because you both have fighting backgrounds, you know what the game is and you know what it's about. And
Yeah.
a couple of things you said there that I really like, a couple of buzzwords I would call them. Uh like
Mhm.
the self-aware and self-critical, I
Yeah.
think like you were saying that you think sometimes just too self-critical. I think to get better, you need to be self-critical.
Need to be self-critical. That's what I'm saying. I feel that I'm very self-critical because I know what it takes to get to that high level in MMA. And the thing is, some people perceive my self-critic, like me being self-critical as me being negative about myself. But in actuality, I'm like, right, well, I'm being realistic with myself and I'm not giving into my emotions of being like, oh, you did okay. No, if I done shite, I'm just going to look at the video and be like, I should have done this, this, and this. I'm going to go way work on that. And they're like, oh, you're too hard on yourself. And I'm like, hold on a minute. Like, I just feel like it's one of them things you have to be like that to get to the high level, you know?
Yeah, because if you rest on your laurels like that, like if you always think you're good enough, you're never going to get any better. It's like
Mm,
I'm always the same. I was like, I should have done this, I should have done that in
uh,
work. And
yeah,
when people are telling me that I'm great, I go shit. You know, so
yeah.
like I need
But then
someone.
I think it's learning to accept that praise too. Sometimes I think that's what you have to strike a balance with too. Like give yourself credit when credit's due 100% and allow yourself to feel, oh, I'm actually doing good here. That's great. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them things where you have to strike a balance with it, or else there was a whole study done on negative mindset and like how you talk to yourself structures your brain differently than if you do positive. So you have to have that critical, but within a positive mindset, you know?
Yeah, it's like let's put it this way, right? Just say you lose a fight yourself, and you're like, I was shit, I was that, I was this. If Matthew lost a fight, would you say those words to Matthew?
No, so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's how you have to talk to yourself, how you talk to other people. You know what I mean? Well, I probably just like well, probably if we're like annoying each other, I'd be like, "Ah, you're shit," and then he'd be like, "What?" It'd just be like, dig in there." You know what I mean? Like whenever we're joking about it, I'm like, "Oh, he's spinning back heel kick," you know, and then he's like, "Fuck off." So it's
Oh,
like,
that's a harsh one. I might have to put this out because he might not interview me. I have to bring this out after
no.
I talk to him. Oh,
No, he
yeah.
knows it's all love. It's all love.
I just,
But that's what I'm saying. We laugh about everything that's happened because at the end of the day, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. Do you know what I mean? And you just have to take all the experience, move past it, and just become better. And look at him now. Like that last fight he was in, he was like his striking was just a different level. Do you know what I mean? From what it was before, that's Mark. Mark's took him on, and he's took his striking to a different level, and you saw that in that last fight. It was just a pity he just didn't finish the guy because it was in his hometown, and obviously it was just favourably went to the other guy. and that's one of the things I kind of was raging. I think I was more raging about it than him. I was sitting going like, I want to see the scorecards and all, and I was awful. But even your Mano looked shocked whenever he won. It was that bad. But just one of them things. Live and learn.
Yeah, it's going to a hometown boy and having a fight like that is always risky. But like,
Yeah.
you need to finish them. But like obviously, you've your own fight coming up this weekend. You have a very good
Yeah.
opponent who's fought at the likes of
Oh,
Super Tough, IMAF. She's had a lot of fights. How much are you relishing to test your skills against a girl like Ava?
oh, 100%. Like I'm ready for like that's what I'm saying. I'm ready to fight any girl that's willing to put themselves in there as well. Like that's what you need to do to get to the level that you need to get at. And if that means fighting everybody, I will. At the end of the day, that sounds so cocky, saying that I'll fight everybody. But I mean, it's one of them things where you just have to put yourself out there and test yourself. That's how you learn and prove who you are as a fighter too. You know, it's
Yeah,
just has to be done.
yeah, it's going to be a crack of a fight. But with the amount of girls or women in MMA, you're going to start running out of people very soon.
Yeah, but then that's what I'm saying. There's new ones. There's loads of new girls popping up. Do you know what I mean? And that's the thing. It's like I have to get to the stage and being realistic and be like, right, is my record reflection of obviously my ability? But it's one of them things where I just really have to think about in terms of records. Like I can't just fight fresh people coming in too, because that's doing them a disservice. And then obviously you feel like you're sandbagging a wee bit. But like it's just one of them things you have to be realistic. You have to start going away for fights just to get those fights as well. Is there other girls that are willing just to put, you know, themselves out in the line? Obviously I have more experience. Well, I have a good bit of experience, but it's one of them things where I wanted the right fights too now. Like at the start I was just taking any fight. Now I'm looking for the right fight. So that's whenever you need to start thinking about professional level. Is that something that I'm looking forward to? Or is that in the pipeline? It's just one of the things where I have to just go back and talk to Rodney and see, look, where are we sitting at? What can I do to improve? What do you need out of me as a fighter, for me to get into that level? And obviously I want to be successful and I want to be able to have a good career at this. So it's just thinking in terms of my game plan, I just have to hone in my game plan now and stick to it.
Yeah, no, and like that, I like the way you're talking, the positivity, and the way you want to kind of build your career towards professional. And I like that it's mad when you think 3 years ago you only kind of started and you're up
Three
here.
years ago, I didn't even think I was going to fight. I didn't join this sport to fight. I joined this sport just to get out of my room and not like be scared of the world. That's the problem. Like I didn't think I'd be this person who I am today. And it's mad, everybody you meet in this journey too, and the amount of help and like support that everybody's given me is madness. But definitely if I say 3 years ago me compared to now, oof, that's a different girl altogether. So it's just honing in that mindset now for me and keeping it positive because sometimes I doubt myself and I'm very negative. So I just have to stay on that kind of positive kind of wavelength. It is hard, like whenever you're used to everything in your life being negative, but it's one of the things you have to work on.
And I can see that transition starting to kind of come through you, and then eventually you'll come through. Like I think you have, like you should believe in yourself more. I think you're a fantastic
Yeah,
fighter, fantastic person.
thanks.
Like
Oh,
that, whenever you've lost a decision like that. Gemma Rowd, Kai O'Sullivan, Sarah Ellie
yeah,
Sheridan. These
yeah.
aren't easy fights. These are world
Mm.
champions, like IMF world champions. So I
Yeah.
think you need to give yourself
But
more sometimes.
I know, but then in my head, I'm like, I could have beaten him. I could have done this. I could have done that. Do you know what I mean? It's just that inner critic, like I was talking to you earlier. I just need to give myself a break and just be like, right, I went in there, done 3 rounds. Every fight I went out, I was uninjured. I was just, do you know what I mean? It's just unlucky. And it's one of them things where I just have to kind of give myself a break for it. But yeah, I never will.
Oh, and
Mm.
like that, you need that critic in you as well, though. I'm gonna let you.
Yeah,
It's been fantastic talking to you again.
I don't know why I just did that.
It's um,
Oh,
here, I done it when someone came over and standing beside Andrew's bin there, and I think it was Amy Kelly came over with the camera, and I just went like
yeah.
that. And I seen the picture, I said, "Can you delete
Oh
it?"
no, I'll do you one worse. It was Clan Wars, and I was cornering. It was Matthew's pro debut and I was cornering a guy for the very first time. and he won the fight. And at the end of the fight, I was like this. It wasn't even like that. It was like this, and I was like this here. I was like, oh, just bury me. Like it was just give me a shovel. Oh, it's just awful.
Oh no. Well, look, I will see you this weekend. Is there anything you want to say
Yeah.
before you go? Thank you so much for your time, or anyone you want to
No,
shout out.
you're grand. Yeah, obviously, everyone at my gym. So obviously Rodney and everybody else that helps me there, and then Kieran at Combat. So obviously cross train a wee bit. Everybody at Combat, Catherine, Kieran, and all the boys there. And then I've got obviously Mark and Declan and Brian Histon along with Cavan as well. So and Curry, they're my main kind of rounds in there as well. And obviously Matthew, can't forget Matthew.
And
He'd be like,
well, he's
but
gonna have to do the same for you tomorrow now when I
he'd
talk.
like, oh my God, I know I can't. He's unhinged, so I don't know what's going to come out of his mouth. So.
Well, I'm looking forward to this conversation even more now tomorrow. But
Oh,
I gotta let you go. Thank you so much for your time. I
perfect.
will see you.
No, you're grand.
I'll be at the show on Sunday, so I will see you there.
Perfect. All right, see you then.
Perfect. Thank you.